I'm going to be making bagels tomorrow, sourdough bagels tomorrow, and then probably sourdough bread. So I thought that I would hop on here and bring you along with me. I have 3 of my 7 starters, which, yes, it seems like a lot, but I also do a lot. My kitchen is not super clean. We're just going to have to move on with it. And I'm wearing a sweatshirt that I've been painting in all day. So anyway, so I have 3 starters, and they all have bubbles. They've all been sitting out for a couple days. I've got other ones in the fridge. And so I'm just going to feed them, and then tomorrow I'll decide which ones I'm going to use. But I'm just going to feed them a little bit to make sure that they're active and fed and ready to go tomorrow. You don't have to use like, hi Jules. You don't have to use starters necessarily like the morning after you feed them all the time. There's different wait times. Sometimes like you can wait a couple days after you fed them and they've been sitting on the counter, and you can also use that for a more sour taste. But a couple of these have been in the fridge for a long time, and I just recently fed them after like 4 months, and so I just thought I would feed them again and then use ripe starter. And then if I use like a brand new recipe, I also like to use that as my control, like feeding it the night before and then starting with a fresh fed starter the next day as my control with a brand new recipe, and then I'll kind of play with it usually after that. So anyway, so I have my starters, and I'm not going to split any. I mean, they're pretty full. I could split them, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to feed them a little bit with bread flour, which bread flour has a higher gluten content in it, and then warm water, and I always use a scale.
Yeah.
So here's my scale. I keep my bread flour in a food safe container because I have a huge amount of it. I buy my bread flour from Sam's Club, and then I've got my warm water already in the microwave. I also use these sheets that I get from Sam's Club, like these wax paper sheets or whatever. Hey, quit, Jules. And I use this all the time. And my favorite thing to mix my starters with is a bread knife or butter knife. So because these are such a large quantity, I probably would benefit from splitting them. But I don't know if I have enough jars or anything. But this is what it looks like. I fed this a couple days ago, and it's been sitting on my counter, so it's just going to kind of rejuvenate everything. Hey, please, stop. What? And I'm just putting my scale, quit please, on 2 grams. And the key, please stop. The key to this is making sure that your ratios are consistent. So however much flour I put in here is how much water I'm gonna put in here and mix. And just, like I said, I fed this recently. It is at the point where it's about to start making hooch on top. And I'm not even gonna mix it before I put it in today. I'm just gonna go ahead and roll. If this was sitting in my fridge for a couple weeks and I set it out and then put it on room temperature for an hour, then I would mix it. And I'm the kind of person that I will remove like 3/4 of the hooch sitting on top and leave 1/4 of the hooch. And I always put the hooch in a jar or saving it for later, just because why not? I don't wanna throw it away. So I would mix it and then add everything in, but it's only been a couple days, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I forgot a spoon. Please scoot over, Julesy. And then, let's see, I want to do 30 grams just because I don't have much room. And 30 on the dot. So I'm going to do 30. I just put 30 grams of flour in there. And then warm water. The key to the water is make sure it's warm, but if you feel like it's too hot that it might kill your yeast, don't use it, just add some cooler water to it. So we just put that back on the scale, we recalibrate at 0. I used to switch over to 30 mils, but I don't do that anymore. I just make sure it's at 30 grams as well. And if you're at like 31 to 34, like if it's just like a couple off, it's usually okay. I always err on this side of a little bit more water than not. So then you just give it a really good stir, incorporate to make sure that you're aerating and that you're getting all that stuff just from the top to the bottom as best you can. And everything is fully mixed. And I'm going to now loosely put the jar back on top. And because of science, this will actually tighten itself on its own. Okay. Okay, so now this is just going to sit on my countertop overnight, and it's going to get a lot of bubbles. And when I come to check on it in the morning, all the bubbles is going to show me that it's done its job. When it's colder in your house, it might take longer. If it's hotter in your house, like in the summer, you might only have to wait maybe 4 hours and your starter will be ripe. So it's just dependent on the temperature of your kitchen. Please stop. She needs a nap. She should have taken a nap today, so she's extra rambunctious. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process with my other 2 starters. And again, I'm just going to do 30 grams because they've been fed recently. Oh, look at that. You might not see a ton of bubbles on the outside, but look at all the bubbles on the inside. Okay, scoot over. Don't put your fingers in there. Don't put your fingers in there.
Can I help you?
No, not on this one. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that.
What's one?
Just hang out with me for a little bit. Okay.
In it.
Yep.
Why does it have water?
And the reason why I'm not putting it on real tight is because I want the starter to have access to air as well. Again, you can't really see much on the outside. You can see some bubbles, but on the inside, it is very happy. Very, very happy. So anyway, are you guys interested in making your own starter or cooking with sourdough? I'm really interested. I cook. Stop it, please. If you have a problem with me reprimanding my children, this is not the channel for you. Anyway, let's see. 0. I'm going to be making bagels tomorrow with sourdough starter. I think I've done it maybe one other time. I've made bagels, but I haven't done it with sourdough starter. And I find that I have way more luck with sourdough than anything else. I always make my cinnamon rolls with sourdough. My kids like it. The only bread I really make now is sourdough bread. And so I just want to continue on that venture because I don't feel guilty when I eat it. Like, I don't eat mass quantities of it, and this is a really natural, like, this is from the air. The yeast is literally from the air around me, and I'm making it. I don't feel guilty about it. And there's a ton of stuff that you can make with sourdough, and I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. And if you guys are interested in the process of this and following along with me as I continue to make more things with sourdough, let me know. This is something that I feel does really well where I live in the humid climate that I live in, and it's usually warm, and it's a warmer climate, so I feel like it's, I don't know, maybe it's me or it's my climate, but it's very successful most of the time. So there's number 3. And then there you go. That's it. That's as long as it took to do 3 starters. I think it took 3 or 4 minutes just to do 1. And then I just always clean up. And I don't have a garbage disposal. And we're on septic. So I'm just really cautious about what I put down my sink. Because I've clogged my sink with this sourdough stuff before. So I always just really wipe everything down really well. And then I wash it so it's not going down my drain. So yeah. Let me know in the comments down below if you are interested in more stuff about sourdough. If you like following along as I'm making this stuff, I could do lives. I could go live as I'm baking because I'm baking all the time, even with working and stuff like that. Like, I mean, let's just be real. I do a lot of stuff, but this is something that I love doing, and I always make time for this. And some people get turned off by the time-consuming part of making sourdough bread and stuff like that, but you know, it's something that you're doing for your family or for yourself even, and it's really not that big of a deal. You just have to plan around it a little bit. So my sourdough starter, you do the night before, so then on Saturday or Sunday even, I just do the stretching process throughout the day, and then I bake it the next morning. So it just kind of depends. You can kind of fit it into your schedule. But yeah, I'm going to be doing bagels tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that. Because I haven't made that with sourdough starter, so it should be really good. So everything is fed. I've got 3 things to choose from tomorrow, and I guess I will check in with you guys tomorrow and see how this goes. Thanks for watching.